Meir SHEETRIT, thank you very much for being with us at WPC TV. You are a member of the Israeli Knesset and a former member, I think, head of the, former minister of the intelligence service in Israel.
Yes.
So you've just...
I'm always glad to be here with you.
Well, thank you very much. But you've just been at a very interesting panel on cyber security, cyber terrorism, etc. And frankly, a lot of what you said is rather terrifying.
That's right. And there is a reason to be terrified. Today, in the new and modern battlefield, I don't think that today you don't have to use airplanes or tanks or soldiers in order really to make a damage to a different country. All you need is a computer and a keyboard. And it is really frightening because the power that you have in your hand, if you know to use it, you know how to do it, is much more powerful than any army regular conventional weapon. It's really, you can sabotage or make collapse of a full state just by computer.
In a way, though, one could argue that that's actually quite a good thing, a good alternative to conventional warfare or to weapons of mass destruction, because you could, your combat would be with technology without causing casualties, without causing death, without causing destruction.
It can cause a lot of casualty. For example, if somebody took over the computers who was taking the consideration of preserving let's say, power station, and you make this computer to think that the power station, the turbine is not going hot enough and can go higher and higher and higher, it will be exploded. If you stop all the electricity in a city, in a state, totally, you can get a lot of damages. Everywhere where they don't have electricity, it can be damages. If somebody stop or taking control over the light or the transportation and making a lot of accidents, you can get casualties. Things have been happening. In the middle of summer, in 2007, Estonia had been attacked by Russian hackers and maybe by Russian themselves state, and they paralyzed the stock market, they paralyzed all the electricity in the country, they paralyzed all the banks and all the communication. The country was stopped.
So how does one protect, how should countries protect themselves against the cyber terrorism? Won't the hackers always be, if you like, one step ahead?
I'm not afraid from a personal hackers, because in order really to make a big damage to another state, you need the means of a state, because you need a lot of people working on it, a lot of time, and you have to have the means and possibilities to invest in it, a lot of money. Otherwise, you cannot really control different others. Hackers sometimes easily can touch different sites and maybe paralyze them, but it's not a big damage. So every country, in matter of fact, had to protect itself and to protect its own all infrastructures. All the infrastructures, banks, stock markets, water systems, electricity, power plants, nuclear power plants, all are controlled by computers and supervised by computers. So if you can get into these computers, you can create a big damage. For example, take a nuclear power plant. If somebody gets into the computer which control the power plant, he can make the power plant think that the temperature is not good, is not high enough, and it go higher and higher and higher, it will be exploded, and it will create a big damage to the state. That's the reason why every country had to prepare what I call the cyber warriors, to invest a lot of, prepare them, train them, and let them working 24/7, because you have always to follow up technologies. Technologies in cyber, every generation is just 1 year or 1.5 years maximum. If you wait another year, you're out of the system. Your system are not relevant anymore. So you have all the time to develop it.
Is there a way of regulating it? One of the points from your panel was that, I think you made it, that if you have a worm like Stuxnet, which I think must have been Israel and America, although I don't suppose you'll say. But let's assume. But I think you made the point, or someone did on your panel, that this is really an act of war. And if you can verify from where the act comes, then the country attacked has the right to retaliate. Yeah. So don't you need some sort of international regulation?
Yes. Today there is no regulation whatsoever. Even in such a case that somebody attacks somebody else, of course, the one who had been attacked cannot know exactly who is attacking him, because nobody attacks seriously from his own sites. Usually you go through a server, which go through another server and another server, in order not to find the sources. So he cannot really react against someone unless you know 100% that it is come from a certain point. But we need a regulation.
A final question though. If you go back to the Cold War, United States, the Soviet Union, both nuclear powers, there was the lovely phrase, mutually assured destruction. So there was, if you like, a balance of terror. No one dared to upset that balance. Can one envisage the same thing with cyber warfare?
Yes. No doubt in our mind that, in matter of fact, the attacks that had been happened a few years ago on Lockheed Martin site, which they took over all the plans of Lockheed Martin, which include the F-35, strategical weapons, they took everything. That could be done only by Chinese, according to assessment. So I believe that the United States is well acting against the same way and vice versa. So both sides knowing that they really started an attack, the other side will react as well. Even there is no regulation, still this tension is holding the air. Everybody prepare himself, protect his own infrastructure, and prepare an offense if it is needed. Of course, the question will be, if there is such a clash, which technology is better? Where they arrive, what they can do.
Well,
and you need today a young guy, 18 or 20, which is a warrior, cyber warrior, is a better and much more stronger than a full army division. The damage it can cause to another country is unbelievable. Just one guy.
Well, when I remember what I was like at the age of 18, I think it's a terrifying prospect. Meir SHEETRIT, thank you very much for being with us on WPC TV. Thank you.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.